Good morning, church. The devotion I'm going to discuss today is about children and education. We as a church have been supporting children in Honduras for many years through Tierra Santa, CVOH, and now All God's Children. All of the children we have supported have graduated high school. Some have graduated university. Many of you know that many years ago, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Honduras, and my family and I had the opportunity to take one little girl, Marina, through junior high, high school, and on to university. This had a multiple effect on her family, as she not only got a job in the university and was able to help her whole family become educated and self-supporting, instead of growing up in the small village that she originally was living in. Girls at that time were being married at 12 years old and having 25 children, 50% mortality rate. This was a miracle for her family, and it was a blessing for our family. Today we have two students left to support. Luis, who is a junior at the university, and Wendy in high school. We would like to see these two graduate also. By using All God's Children, we have eliminated most of the overhead. All God's Children supports housing for unwed mothers and food for 91 families during this pandemic. Now let's look at some of the faces of some of the students we have supported. And as we do, I'm going to read some devotions from the Bible. See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. From Matthew 18:10. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. Proverbs 13:22. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. James 1:27. James describes the true religion much differently than people in our culture. He explains that the act of looking after orphans and widows, God has special concern for those most vulnerable, those who fall at the margins of society, who are often exploited. God claims to be their protector, and James instructs us to follow his example. Deuteronomy 10:18 says, God executes justice for the fatherless and the widow and loves the sojourner, giving him food and clothing. James reiterates that truth in our verse above and shares that the responsibility to care for widows and orphans is ours as well. It is a tremendous blessing of love to serve and protect those most vulnerable in this world and share God's love with them. He is the greatest protector of all. This is some of the typical housing that you'd see in Honduras. And God's word also contains several scriptures on the importance of protecting children. Jesus calls us to share for children and not send them away as insignificant. Children are valuable to him. In many cultures around the world, children are often abused, neglected, and discarded. An argument shared among the disciples as to which of them would be the greatest. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and had him stand beside him. Then he said to them, whoever welcomes this little child to my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For it is the one who is least among you who is also the greatest. Luke 9:46-47. The Bible is clear that children are to be looked at as a blessing and not an inconvenience. They are a reward from God. Truly, children are a gift from God. A big thank you to all the congregation for your support over the years for the disadvantaged children of Honduras. When fall comes, we take it for granted that our kids and grandkids have a place to sleep, food, and will be heading back to school to continue their education. We are blessed to live in a country that was founded on equal opportunity and good of all. Many countries are not so blessed. Imagine being a child alone in a frightening world. Honduras experiences the highest level of poverty in Latin America with a 66% poverty rate. There is approximately 80% completion of primary school and only about 64% completion of high school, with even less finishing. Very few make it to university. Thanks to the annual fundraising here at All Saints and with the relief offering, monthly donors, and our annual golf tournament, we have collectively been able to help one child at a time. This year with COVID-19, we have not been able to sponsor a golf tournament. There's the online giving campaign and the relief offering, which will be collected this Sunday through a donation at church. With your help, Marcela Flores has graduated high school. Mariela Zayela has graduated high school. Elvis Coleon graduated university. Oniada Chaveria graduated high school. Wendy Garay is in 10th grade. Regina Gomez graduated high school. Delmis Maribel graduated high school. Luis Garay is at the university studying information technology, and he only has one more year to complete his studies. Idalia Martinez, Ivan Nunez, and Sixto Funes have been able to get as much education as they have, despite not graduating. Every bit of education helps. Idalia and Ivan are working, and if things go well for these three, they may be reapplying to get back into school. Our two current scholarship recipients are Luis Garay and Wendy Garay. Changing the future of Honduras means educating its youth. Thanks so much for your continued prayers and support of these children. This Sunday, our offering will be for the two remaining children we continue to sponsor. They need our help, as well as all the students, teachers, and parents around the world. Now let's say closing prayer. Teach us your ways, O Lord, and give us an understanding heart so that we may lead others to you and your truth. Give us your wisdom that we may share it with others. Amen.